Hello and welcome to today's YouTube Live, where we've got lots and lots to discuss today. We're talking about engagements of the week, we're talking about our fashion moments of the week, and also we've got a question of the week as well. So we've got lots planned for today's YouTube Live. How are you doing, Rach?
Yeah, commuting to London is not fun.
We had to scurry, hence the reason we're probably a little bit late today.
Yeah, trains get delayed, and that's what happens when you commute to London. So,
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
here, so that's the main thing.
Yeah. Welcome to everybody who's watching. Leave in the comments, see if you can see us and hear us all good. If you have any questions for us, started with question at the start so we can kind of differentiate it between just chat in the chat and a question for us. So shall we go straight into it then, Rach? Because obviously we're so used to having the podcast, and this is like a live version of that, isn't it? And what we tend to have done with the podcast is go through all of the engagements of the week, but we thought we'd kind of mix it up a little bit and actually talk about our favorite royal engagement of the week. So, what have you chosen as your engagement of the week?
Well, my favourite engagement of the week is the society wedding of the year. So many of us were chatting about this over on Instagram. I've seen so many people talking about the wedding of the Duke of Westminster, Hugh Grosvenor, to Olivia Henson. I had to look at my notes then to make sure I got her name right. And this was a big deal because Hugh Grosvenor is a very close friend of Prince William's, and William was at the service, as well as Princess Eugenie. And fun fact for all community, I don't know if you know this or not, but Hugh is actually godfather not only to Prince George, but to Prince Archie as well.
He is, and a lot of the news outlets I was seeing actually missed that bit of information. They just mentioned George, didn't they? I was like, no, he's also the godfather for Archie as well. He's a big cheese in the aristocratic world, isn't he?
He is, and he is one of the richest people under 35 in the UK.
Wow.
And he's one of the richest people, but there was a lot of controversy because as the lovely bride Olivia was arriving to the church, there was a makeshift aisle. I don't know if you saw, and it was just like a wooden aisle, a ramp that was made. I'm sorry, but for the amount of money that went into this wedding, surely they could have put a cover of some sort over that, because so many people were pointing out that ugly ass makeshift wood pathway.
Do you know, I kind of was thinking about this recently because obviously I'm assuming, not that we know, but I'm assuming they might have potentially had a wedding planner. But I don't know whether they were expecting so much of a foray outside of the chapel, right? The church, because there were a lot of photographers, there were a lot of royal fans as well, and fans of aristocratic families. And maybe they had to they raised it up a little bit so people from the back could see. I'm kind of just surmising on that. I don't know whether that's true or not, but it was pretty kind of chopped together with a bit of plywood from B&Q. You know what I mean?
I think because as well it was cobblestone, so maybe they put it down because of the heels that the ladies were wearing. Talking of heels, another controversial point of this wedding was the bride's shoes. Oh my goodness, this caused a foray over on social media. So the bride wore velvet block blue shoes. A lot of people thought they were black because I think in the photos and the videos it did look black, but this was obviously her something blue. And I'm just going to look at my notes for community because I did write down who the designer was, and the designer was Sylvia Largo, a Spanish designer. And I was not a fan of the shoes, I've got to admit it. I thought she looked lovely, but I wasn't a fan of the shoes.
Okay, I'm gonna be controversial as I am. If anyone's watching this from YouTube that hasn't really followed along on the podcast, Rach and I have very different style aesthetics. I love bright colors, I love patterns, I love clashing things. Loud, proud, get out there. And Rach, you're more kind of pastel, kind of frill. I mean, I like frills, but you know what I mean. We've got how our aesthetic is very different.
Yeah.
So I wasn't I thought her dress was just beautiful. It really was. It was so spectacularly made, but it was a bit boring. I hate to say it. I was beautiful, but a bit boring, a bit plain. Love the back, love the lace, but it was a little bit boring for me. And then I saw this pop of color and I was like, hallelujah, yay. Like, I actually loved that part. It was fun. It was vibrant. It showed the bride's personality a little bit more. But I know it was really 50-50, wasn't it? A massive split on whether people like the shoes or not. So if you are watching or listening replay or you're here live, pop in the comments and let us know what you thought of Olivia's shoes. Were they a yay or were they a nay? Because I'm definitely a yay and you're definitely a nay.
I'm definitely an A. She was also wearing the Fabergé Martel leaf tiara made for Grosvenor brides to wear on their wedding day, and it has been in the Grosvenor family since its creation in 1906. So
I love the tiara.
Yeah, I thought the tiara was beautiful. I loved her veil. It was very windy on their wedding day, and there were some lovely shots of the wind blowing the veil out, and I just thought it looked lovely. I loved her hairstyle on the back, but I wasn't a fan of the front. And like you, Shell, I wasn't in love with the dress. I really, I did like how the cutout back was a prominent feature, but it wasn't my favorite wedding look. And I actually preferred the photos that they released after the wedding day. Did you see those? They were absolutely beautiful.
I haven't actually. I've only seen the pictures that you were just talking about with that wonderful shot of the veil. It was beautiful, such an action shot. But I haven't actually seen the after shot, so I'll go and have a look at this after the live.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing a lot of people were saying was that this was a big deal for the local community, because we're talking aristocratic circles now. This is the family seat. This sounds very Jane Austen, Bridgerton. Where they got married, the Duke of Westminster's country abode, shall we say. And he actually made sure that the local community was watered and fed. There was people, free ice cream was available, and there was free drinks as well that were being
We should have gone.
We don't live anywhere near.
We don't. We'll go anywhere for free ice cream.
But it was just nice to have a wedding in focus. Like, it got me quite excited, because we're probably not going to have a royal wedding for quite some time, especially a British royal family wedding. So it was lovely to see the fact that William was there and Eugenie was there. And yeah, just a lovely moment. And it was kind of a nice change to just get excited over royal fashion, because we normally rely on Catherine for that, don't we? But now that we haven't seen her in public for a while, we're having to look elsewhere for our fashion needs.
Absolutely. But it was such a lovely occasion, wasn't it? And like you said, it was just a great way to get excited about a wedding, because we love a wedding, royal community, don't we? We absolutely love a wedding. So my royal engagement of the week is going to be, I mean, come on, you all know what mine's going to be. It's going to be Prince William in Cardiff this week, which is my hometown. So representing. Firstly, we started off with Prince William's socials. He was on the train, wasn't he, Rach? He was on the Great Western train heading to Cardiff, a train I've taken many a time. I was going to say never first class, but I have taken it first class once or twice. They did a special deal at Christmas time. But he was there because in his capacity as, I guess, part of Earthshot, right? But Earthshot and the Future Generation Commissioner for Wales, his name's Derek Walker, they were hosting an event with Cardiff Metropolitan University to celebrate Welsh seaweed industry. Didn't know it was a thing, but it's a thing, and I'm happy for them. Bring it on. So yeah, he was pictured on the train first to get the ball rolling. A lot of people was like, why isn't he on the royal train? But he's not the king, right? I know he probably takes it every now and then, but it's the king's train at the moment.
The royal train doesn't actually get used a lot, because it's very expensive to run, so they don't tend to use it. They use it mainly for bigger royal tours. They don't necessarily use it for daily or weekly engagements. But I loved the shot of William on the train. It was very like a quick snapshot, but I loved as well the red binder with his initial on the front. It's just so royal, isn't it?
It's very posh. I love it. So in the description on Instagram, it said seaweed is one of the most abundant resources on the planet, and its potential solution to some of the biggest environmental problems felt across the world. So this was a great way of kind of showcasing what seaweed could do. Like, you know, once they've harvested it, what can they do with it? So firstly, he'd gone to like loads of different tables within the university. There was one table where somebody had made energy bars from seaweed, and I think kelp as well. And he tried some, and you could tell he was like, "Okay, I can get on board with seaweed energy bars." He also had they had these biodegradable golf tees, and they were made from marine algae. And as they were talking about golf, he kind of pointed to his scar on his head, a bit like the Harry Potter scar, and he said, someone said to him, if he likes to tee off, which that sounds like a rude thing, doesn't it? But does he like to tee off? And he said no. And then he pointed to his scar. The last time I played golf, as in this happened to me kind of thing. And it was just so funny. So the scar apparently was in 1991, he had an accident. I don't know if it was a friend or whatever, but he got hit with a golf club, and he's got a scar on his head. So yeah, I don't think he'll be playing golf anytime soon. But what was great about this engagement was Nopla was there, and we've talked about Nopla for ages, haven't we, Rach?
Times over on the podcast, so many times.
Yeah, they were the 2022 winners of Build a Waste-Free World award from the Earthshot Prize. And I tell you what, I've enjoyed so much in the research of doing the engagement of the week, just finding out a bit more about Nopla. So I found out that they'd had a deal with Just Eat, which is our UK other parts of the world. And Rach, they've created 1 million containers. Their containers are made out of seaweed, aren't they? And marine stuff. I say stuff like I know what I'm talking about. No idea as I say stuff. Marine stuff. So seaweed, and it's biodegradable. So instead of having all this plastic in wasteland, waste fills, it literally is. It would just biodegrade. I just love this concept. It's so brilliant. But 1 million cartons they've provided for Just Eat. And you could just imagine how much plastic that has saved over the years. So
yeah.
Not just that, but they are basically the main like takeaway cartons of all the major kind of sporting events now, cricket and football and all sorts. So I feel like Nopla's going to take over the whole of the UK, which I'm loving.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that the Earthshot Prize is actually putting its money where its mouth is.
Yeah.
And in these people with these ideas of ways to solve the environmental issues that we have in the world. And I think it's really important. And the fact that William is so into this, you can tell this is really his passion, one of his passion projects. That he's excited about, and the amount of engagements that he does do with and for the Earthshot Prize, you can just see that.
Absolutely. I really do think that this engagement in particular, not just because it was in Wales, but this particular engagement for me was just solidifying everything that he loves, like you were just saying, Rach. And the Earthshot Prize is going to be his legacy. So this is a great way of really supporting that and supporting the people who've also won, because you just think, okay, you've won your £1 million now what? But
Yeah.
What I want to say is anyone watching this right now or watching the replay, in the comments, I've left some of the charities and links that we're going to be mentioning today. And one of those is the link for Nopla with the Earthshot Prize. Feel free to take a look and see how great they are and what they're doing with the money. It's spectacular. Do you know what? I kind of welled up a little bit reading it, because I was like, there's a solution out there, and it just gives you hope. Do you know what I mean, Rach?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the Earthshot Prize is about, right? It's about inspiring people and thinking of innovative ideas to, you know, as I said, try and solve the issues that we have. So it's incredible work that the Earthshot Prize is doing.
100%. I was also going to say that She says, looking at her notes. Bear with me a moment. La 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 la.
By the
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
if you laughing at Michelle right now doing la 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 la. If you actually have listened to our podcast, things like that are normally cut out. So you're getting your version of this right now.
This is why we need to practice. Please come back and see us. I swear, please come back. No, but I was going to say that when the next city for Earthshot was announced, we wasn't on the air, Rach, right? So it's Cape Town, isn't it?
Town, yeah. And I actually said, didn't I, Africa?
You did. Yeah, you did. I think what did I say? New Zealand, wasn't it? And New Zealand, kind of Australia. Yeah. So it's going to be so exciting to see what Cape Town has to bring, because Singapore was incredible. It was so great. Yeah, so watch this space. I'm sure we're going to cover the Earthshot when and if when it comes up in September/October time. But yeah, so those are our engagements of the week. We've obviously had lots more going on, but I think what we'll do next, Rach, is move on to our fashion moments of the week. So what have you got for us fashion-wise?
Well, mine obviously has to be the wedding. It has to be.
Nice.
About it. Just nice to see, as I said before, a society wedding, aristocratic wedding. Had no idea apart from who William and Eugenie were. I've seen Hugh about times, because Hugh actually was part of the coronation, wasn't he? He was in the procession for the King's coronation. So he does have a very close friendship within the royal family, and his family does as well. So yeah, that's my fashion moment of the week. What's your show?
Mine is a curveball, because I'm giving mine to the hobnob, the Princess Royal. We call her the hobnob round here, royal community. And the reason why I chose this is because I think it's an outfit that I would wear if I was royal. And also I think she looked really chic and really styled. And sometimes she doesn't always get it right. Let's put it that way, in the nicest way. But this time I thought what she was wearing was very appropriate for the engagement. I'll talk about it in a moment. But also it's very hard to be stylish and practical and get it right for the occasion with the weather, because the weather is all over the place at the moment in the UK.
Oh.
So I think she just got it spot on. So the Princess Royal was out and about in Southampton, opening the I'll try and get this right, the Mercator Media Limited's 25th anniversary of Seawork Marina exhibition at Southampton yesterday on the 11th of June. And she was wearing these really smart trainers. And I think this is why I wanted to pick it up, because we tend not to see her in trainers very often. But these really suited her, and they were smart ones. They wasn't just like, oh, I'm just going to stick a pair of trainers on. You could tell that she'd put them together, and we really never know. Has she got a stylist? Has she not got a stylist? I never really know with the Princess Royal.
Yeah, I don't think she has a stylist. She definitely has a hairstylist. We've heard her say that before, because didn't her stylist get a
Royal Victorian Order, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was that. Yeah. So yeah, it's nice. But royal community, in a few weeks' time, we have got Royal Ascot, and that is always big talking point within the royal community, because Ascot is where the fashion ladies go to. So
yeah, and watch this space, because we'll be chatting all about it.
Bring on Queen Camilla, bring on Shell. We love the King's outfits normally, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, we do. So to complete this outfit, then she had a cream blazer with navy accents, tailored navy trousers, navy velvet gloves, Rach. Although I say they're navy, but you know what it's like with the Princess Royal. Her engagements hardly ever get picked up. So I'm going from really just a very small amount of pictures that I've seen. This really lovely nautical scarf with like gold and bronze embellishments with navy and cream, and also a navy bag. And it was very obviously nautical. It was navy and cream, but I just love the way that the outfit suited her. And remember, she's in her 70s, and I think she looked really stylish here. So this is the reason why I chose her in particular and this outfit in particular for my fashion moment of the week. So if you're watching this right now, or you're watching on the replay, let us know what your fashion moment was of the week. And let's head on then, Rach, to our question. And our question today is, will Catherine be at Troop in the Colour. So as we know, Troop in the Colour will be this weekend, Saturday the 15th of June. Right, you and I are going to be there in the crowd. We don't have actual tickets to the Horse Guards parade part of it, but we'll be on the mall holding up our British Union Jack flags. We never get Union Jack flags, do we, Rach?
We always say it. The only time we've done it was for the coronation. I think that was the only time, and it was because somebody gave us those flags as well.
Yeah. They're always really expensive. There's always someone coming down going like £15.
Yeah.
Like, I could get that for 20p on Amazon. What are you going on about?
But obviously there has been rumours. Will Catherine even maybe just make an appearance on the balcony? People are speculating whether that's to be true. Personally, I don't think we will see her. I really don't, because Shell, can you imagine? We've said before, we don't know what treatment she's having. We don't know how well she's taking the treatment. She could have lost her hair. She could be looking really thin. All of the scrutiny that was on her before the announcement, and if she did make an appearance and those things have taken place and she's not obviously looking 100% because she's not well, so we wouldn't be expecting her to, there's just going to be so much public media glare on her. And the fact that she's still going through her treatment, I just wouldn't want to wish that on her, all that attention. So I've got a feeling we won't. I mean, will we even see the children this year? Because the children are always a highlight for us in particular, aren't they? Seeing them. I really hope they are, because if we don't get Catherine, that will just be like a lovely thing to witness, especially us being on the Mall, being there. And I'm thinking if they are there, then possibly they could be in the carriage with Queen Camilla and the King, because as we know, the King will not be on horseback this year. He will be riding in a carriage. Or he could be with Sophie in the carriage. And who knows, because there are less royals now, maybe we might even see a few new faces. We know that usually Beatrice, Zara, Mike, they usually attend, but they're not a big fixture. They don't appear on the balcony. Like
We usually see him in a minibus, don't we? Going down the
yeah.
Mall in a blacked out minibus.
Yeah, like back in the day when the Queen was around, they would have that whole big family shot. The whole family would go on the balcony. But what we're seeing over the last few years is it's the main players, as we say, isn't it? It's the senior royals. So who knows? Could we get Lady Louise this year? Because she sometimes makes an appearance. Mm-hmm. We could get James Viscount Severn, Earl of Wessex.
Yeah.
Who knows? So I'm looking forward to it, but I don't think Catherine will appear.
I 100% agree with you. She didn't give the salute in a role as Colonel of the Irish Guards. I mean, they are trooping their colour this year. So for her not to be at the Colonel's review, it makes no sense for her to then be at the trooping parade. You know, if it was either going to be both of them or none of them. And I really do believe that we will not see her on Saturday. I don't think we should see her either, you know. It's her journey. She gets to decide when and if she comes back to work, and this is work for them, isn't it? You know, regardless of whether it's a birthday parade for the King, it's still an engagement that they are obligated to do as part of their role. So it's yeah, it's not all, you know, waving on a balcony and getting on with life. It's hard work doing what they're doing, and it takes a lot of preparation. When you think of the reviews in particular, they have 3 of them, don't they? So there's I think it's the Mayor's review, is it? Lord Mayor's review, like 3 weeks before. Then it's the Colonel's review. Sorry, 2 weeks before, then Colonel's review a week before, and then trooping. So they get the practice there. I would have loved to have seen Catherine at the Colonel's review. It would have been amazing. But as we know, she also sent a letter of complete, like, I'm so sorry, condolence to she's not going to be there. And I did write the letter down, so I thought I would just read it out to you. So, dear Sir Chris, so I think he's like I don't know army ranks, right? I don't know who he is in the army. I should have written that down. Sorry, Royal Community. I wanted to write and let you know how proud I am of the entire regiment ahead of the Colonel's review and troop in the colour. I appreciate everyone trooping this year has been practicing for months and dedicating many hours to ensure their uniforms and drills are immaculate. Being your colonel remains a great honour, and I'm very sorry that I'm unable to take the salute at this year's Colonel's review. Please pass my apologies to the whole regiment. However, I do hope that I'm able to represent you, you all once again very soon. Please send my very best wishes and good luck to all involved. And then it's que separabit. I'm really bad at Latin. My apologies for anyone who actually speaks Latin out there. And then she finishes with Colonel Catherine. So I think that was really heartfelt from her. And it's a big deal to be the colonel of a regiment. So, and especially when they're trooping their colour. So, yeah, it's going to be great, I think, to be there on Saturday. It's going to be great to be in the atmosphere of a royal event again. I'm hoping it's not going to rain. It looks like it might. But for anyone who is coming on Saturday for trooping the colour, they tend to start doing it about 20 past 10 and they go to the event for about 11 o'clock, don't they, Rach? And then it's an hour of waiting. They come back from 12 o'clock onwards and they have a lovely flyover at 1 o'clock. So it's a nice day out, isn't it?
It's a nice day out if the weather's holds up. But as we said, the weather is atrocious at the moment and we haven't got any summer at all at the moment. So
No.
be there with our umbrellas.
I was there. I wore my winter coat the other day, my actual winter coat in June.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
But in going back to your point about the kids, Rach, I think actually they will be there because it is a celebration of the King's birthday. So again, I got my fingers crossed that they will be there, and I actually will take on board what you've said, and I think they may possibly be in the carriage with the Duchess of Edinburgh. So I think that would be a nice one, because I think the King and Queen would stay in their own carriage anyway. So yeah, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts out there, royal community? Do you think we'll see Catherine at Trooping the Colour? I mean, we've got our fingers crossed, but I got it 100% that she won't be there. It's just that kind of like royal fan thing. Like, oh, wouldn't it be lovely if? But I will say this. I do remember 2 years ago when I went to see Trooping the Colour. It was amazing to see Catherine and everybody coming down in the carriages. It's such a spectacular thing to witness. So, and it's really special because beforehand you get all the horses and the carriages and the King's troop coming down, all the military guns, and because they do like they do a gun salute as well, don't they? So there's loads of things happening on that day. But yeah, it's going to be exciting on Saturday for sure.
Right. Have we got any questions, Shell, in the comments?
Have a look. Well, actually, I wanted to bring up a point that was made by Greg a bit earlier. So bear with me and I'll just get it for you really quickly. Here we go. So Greg, in when we were chatting about the Duke of Westminster, Greg mentioned that the Duke is also the grandson of His Majesty the King, which is exactly what you were saying with the coronation. Godson. What did I say? Grandfather. Can't read today. Don't know what's going on with me. Godson of His Majesty the King. So again, you can tell how connected that family are to the royal family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people have put their thoughts about the shoes in the comments. Rachel said, I like the colour and the velvet of the shoes, just not the style.
I think it was quite chunky, wasn't it? I think that's what threw a lot of people. It was a very chunky style.
Yeah.
And not so, because obviously her actual dress was quite figure hugging, wasn't it? So yeah, for me it just didn't go. But to each their own. If you like the shoes out there, then
yeah. Now I was just trying to think. I did see someone. Where are you? Let me have a look. Somebody did agree with you, Rach, and say no. They did. Oh, where is it? I can't find it now. There's a lot of people actually that they do like them. Margaret, you're like a light pair, so exactly the same like you. Rachel said she didn't like the shade of blue. I actually loved it all. I just thought they were lovely. Yes, not a bridal pair of shoes, but
And that designer does actually do a lighter, just like a powder blue version of those shoes. So just wasn't the right shade for me. Just wasn't the right.
I sent you a text, didn't I? And I said that William's tie was the same shade as the shoes. So maybe. Okay, so the Flavanioa. My apologies if I've mispronounced that badly. Sally, I don't think we'll see her in talking about Catherine. Hopefully, the children will attend. We've got our fingers crossed for the children, and they always love a fly past, don't they, Rach? The kids, especially Louis, he loves it.
He loves to fly past. He
He
loves it.
does. So if you have any questions for us, this is the time to pop them in the chat. And if you have any in the if you're watching on the replay, make sure you pop them in the chat as well, because we may potentially use your question next week for question of the week. So yeah, please feel free to ask us any questions you have. In particular, Rach, when you think of the Royals this week, we've got I was just thinking now, because I'm sure I saw on the royal diary that the Duchess of Edinburgh is gone away for a couple of days, and I can't remember. It's literally on the tip of my tongue where she's gone. Where did she go?
I don't know. I must have missed that. But we
Well,
do know.
she went yesterday, so she's there for about 4 days. So we'll probably find something out on the socials in the next couple of days.
Yeah, we did find out that the King and Queen will be going to Guernsey, won't they? They'll be
Yeah,
there, so that would be nice to see them on a little mini tour.
that's right.
Long time coming, as we know. It makes me hopeful, because of all these trips and engagements that the King's starting to go on now, that sounds like promisingly that his treatment's going well. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, Anna said, hi, did anyone else get excited when the Prince of Wales was photographed with his iPhone on the train? I mean, yes, absolutely. We always love an iPhone shot. And also what I loved about it was the lighting was amazing. It was just coming through, hitting it right where it needed to. I mean, yeah, I loved it. What did you think, Rach?
And the thing is, it makes me laugh when we have shots of William like this, because we kind of forget, like, well, you've said this time and time again, that William was your crush, your royal crush. And William was kind of like a heartthrob back in his day, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, now he's a dad, but he's still quite handsome. And it sounds really wrong, because he's a future king, to say that.
Yeah.
But I think it's something to do with the eye shell. Like, they're really piercing still after all this time.
Yeah, but also remember, that was the light coming in as well. So it was just perfect lighting for him. So
yeah, when people meet him, they say that he's very charismatic, and that he does, like, he has that stare like Diana did, like, really, it's all encompassing. It makes you feel like you're really in that moment with them. But as we've said time and time again, they meet thousands of people a year. They're never going to remember you, but if you get to meet them, you'll remember that moment for the rest of your life.
Yeah, because I just couldn't imagine that in my life, like having that much power. I guess it's such a strange position, but it's such a responsibility, isn't it? That
Yeah.
everyone you meet leaves you with a positive reaction, with a positive interaction with you, should I say. Also wanted to bring something up that Katie have just mentioned, and she said would love to see all the cousins on the balcony as well as the children, of course. And like you mentioned just now, Rach, that's something that used to happen and now just doesn't happen anymore. Are you missing that?
I'm not missing it, but I think that's why we saw a few weeks back, we had Eugenie, Beatrice, Mike and Zara at the Buckingham Palace garden party with William. And I think, that is because we haven't got that many royals on the ground now.
Yeah.
So we need to pull resources where we can. And even, I think I mentioned this last week, Eugenie said in her post on Instagram, I'm happy to support my family. They're not going to, I don't think we'll see them become working royals, but just to be there in some sort of capacity when needed. And I think a big royal event, as royal fans, we love to see them, don't we?
Absolutely. Joshua, thank you for coming to my rescue. Sophie is visiting Hanover. As soon as you wrote that, I was like, of course, that's what I read this morning. Hanover, Germany, beginning June the 11th. Yeah, from yesterday. I think it's 4 days in total. So again, one of those things that we do find with the royal socials is they do the engagement, or they wait a couple of days or even half a day, and then it trickles down. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where she's visiting, and also what engagements and charities that she's supporting while she's there. Yeah. It's really interesting to also see in the chat other people's opinions, because we love the royals. So regardless of what our opinions are of things, they're going to have like an institutional way of doing things, but still you're going to miss like, you know, you're going to miss it. So I think I did miss it when all of the people were on the balcony, but I do understand as the queen got more frail, it was more important, I think, institutionally, to show that this is going to be the future of the monarchy, and so kind of stripping that back and saying, you know, we've got you, kind of thing. I feel like that was probably where they were going with that. Speculation. Not sure whether that is true, but just my opinion. So it's who knows whether in the future the king might bring those little elements back, especially now, because it's really sad Catherine's not going to be there. But just as you mentioned earlier, right, it's just so good to know that the king, in whatever capacity, is able to be there on Saturday, and that we got our fingers crossed for a clean bill of health as soon as possible for him.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. I think that's it for today's show, isn't it?
Thank you so much.
It sounds weird saying show podcast.
Yeah.
As we said last week, this is the new format that we'll be taking going forward. So we hope that you enjoy it, because it's quite nice to be interactive with the chat, and we didn't necessarily have that when we were actually doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to hear your guys' thoughts as well, because the whole reason that we started the podcast was to bring this royal community together. And, you know, it's not all about Shell and I, it's about everyone enjoying the chat. So it's been really nice to hear your thoughts and opinions. So lots more to come. As we said, we'll be going to Troop in the Colour this Saturday. So we'll be telling you all about our experience next week. So make sure you tune in for that. Thank you so much, everyone that's joined the live. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you next week on Keeping Up the Windsors.
Yes. Just before we go, make sure you come back next week, 21st of June, and also the 26th of June at 6:30 British Summer Time, because those are our next two lives. Put them in your diaries. And also, Rach, there will be a Troop in the Colour vlog coming out on Sunday. So stay tuned to Keeping Up the Windsors. Make sure you're subscribed, so you're notified of any time we upload new content. And as Rach said, thank you so much for all your support. We'll pop a link down in the below if you want to join our VIP Raw community over on Ko-fi. But apart from that, we will see you on the 21st for another live. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.